Hey, hey, hey. Hey, y'all, hey. All right, as promised, let's get this party started. It is 6:30, just like I said. On the dot, 6:30 Eastern. And I invited some of y'all to come over here and join me. So I'm gonna give people a little time to get here because I need the energy. So my promise was to start doing better about this. The last couple of days, my lives have been low energy because I've done it after dark. So it's dark now, and it's 5:30 where I live. So it gets dark earlier now. And I don't know, at 9:30, 10 o'clock, the energy level is zero. I'm not gonna say zero, but it's like a three. And so the last few days, my lives have not been very inspiring, I don't think. Well, that's the way I felt. Y'all may have felt different, but this is how I felt about it. Hey, JRG. And so I was like, these lives ain't living. Hey, Crystal. I said, they're not living, y'all. They are not living. I had no energy. So my commitment was, I'm gonna go live before I lose that before dark energy, because that 9 o'clock energy is a lot different than the 5 o'clock energy. So here I am. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. Um, and this came from a conversation that I was having with somebody. And as I sat there and I thought about it more, but I thought about how easy it is sometimes, and we probably have like all been guilty of doing this. Like you see somebody and they've achieved a goal or they've done something or what they're doing, it looks really amazing, right? And the person can make it look so easy. Like it's like you would assume like this person has something that maybe you don't. And they might have some information, they might have some mentorship, they may, just have a natural talent that you don't have. So, like, my favorite example, just because I think it's relatable, is an Oprah, right? You look at Oprah and you're like, oh my God. And you just think that God naturally gifted her to be the best, interviewer that there ever was. And look at her, she's successful now, just like that. And she's living an amazing life. And what I want to talk about is a lot of times when we have success or other people have success, all people get to see is that final product, like where you are. There's a whole lot of work that nobody saw. You know, there's a whole lot that happened that nobody saw. So, like one of my mentors, I remember him sharing with us some things like on the back end that he goes through with just dealing with customers and how people might not necessarily be honest, but just judging from the way they treat their people. I never thought that, and so you see him and you're like, oh, he has a very large following. A lot of people know who he is and follow him, but you don't think about the trajectory of where he started from and how he got there. So that's what I want to talk about today. I want to give you some things that people who win or who are successful, the work that they do that's behind the scenes that we don't necessarily see. So there are 6 things, and I know is honestly, if I'm being honest, is more than 6. Like there were more than 6 things, but I'm just gonna give you 6. All right. All right. So the number one, they said no to some things. One thing they simply did was they said no to some things. People who are successful and who win, they do not get distracted when it comes to their goals, right? They have the same opportunities to get distracted as anybody else. But a successful person, a winner, they are not going to get distracted. They're going to be so focused on that goal. So then that means there are some things that they will have to say no to. All right. And along with that no comes with being comfortable not fitting in with the crowd. So they're usually okay not fitting in with the crowd, because what the average person would do or what the regular person would do, they are going to have to say no to. And it's going to be lonelier over there. Like, because most people are doing the thing, right? Allowing the distractions to get them off. But they are accepting that it's just going to be over me over here working. And nobody sees that. Nobody sees that. Nobody sees the birthday parties that they may not be able to go to, that they're up working when other people would be asleep, right? They avoid the distractions. So they focus and they avoid the distractions. The second thing I want to tell you is not only do they say no to some things, they say yes to some things. So something I know to be true is a lot of times when people are presented an opportunity, we will say no. People will say no to an opportunity. I'm gonna say we because it ain't me. So because I've said some yeses. So you'll say, like, you'll be presented with an opportunity, right? And for whatever reason, usually it's like because you want to guarantee or you want to know if I do this, then this is going to happen. So then people will say no to certain things, not knowing there could be a whole lot attached to that. If you had said yes, you missed the opportunity, right? So you said no to something that could have turned into something that you never would have imagined. So let me give you a couple of examples. Okay, so one example would be the story I tell about when I joined Breathe University. All right, so Breathe University was a like mastermind community that Eric Thomas, the number one motivational speaker in the world, that he ran. And I was a fan of ET. When I looked at the things you get, one of them involved like a call with E, and I was like, cool, I'm in all day, right? So when I would tell my friends about it, they'd be like, well, what do you get? Like, what do you get? It's like, so you're paying this money every month. What do you get? And I'm all like, well, we have an accountability call, and we get on a call with E on Sunday, and we have a Facebook group. And so all my friends are like, what? Like, that's all you, well, what you get? And I'm like, well, that's what we get. You get to talk to people who think like you and like-minded people. And they're like, yeah, no, count me out, right? Do you know that my closest, so I went there for ET. I say this all the time. I went for E. But today, my closest relationships came from their community. It's to the point now where those relationships are creating relationships. So had I said no to BU, I potentially would have said no to meeting the coach that saved my life, right? There's so many people, and she's just one person, right? There's so many people that I met in that community that are like family to me. There's very few cities that I could go to in this country and abroad that I could not be like, I know somebody from BU, right? That I could reach out to. But if I had said no to and what Miss Annette is saying, like the conversations that we had. Think about it like this: when we were in the pandemic, I knew people who were like, I'm going mad. I want to get out of this house. I feel so alone. I never felt loneliness in the pandemic. I'm a social person. I love being around people. I went nowhere for a long time. Today, I still don't go out a lot. And I don't have to because I'm able to socialize plenty, right? But if I had said no, right? So just know when you see somebody being successful, they said yes to a relationship without knowing what would come of it. They said yes to like a community. They said yes to a mentor. They said yes to an investment in themselves. They said a yes that led them there without knowing what that yes would generate. So we don't always get the guarantee. We want all these like guarantees. Like if I do this, then this is going to happen. That's not, for us believers, that's not how faith works. Faith works like knowing that God told you something and you believe it, even though he hasn't shown you, but because he told you and you know it's true, you believe it's possible and it will happen for you. So faith doesn't look like, okay, if I sign up for BU, then I'm going to make $1 million. And it doesn't look like that. It looks like signing up because I don't know. I want to be here. I want to be around these people. So to Miss Annette's point, the conversations that I have had and still had, there's not a day that goes by that I don't connect with somebody from their community. There's not a single day that I don't talk to somebody. And the community does not even exist anymore. It does not exist anymore. But there's not a day that goes by that I do not talk to somebody from that community or somebody from that community does not reach out to me. So because I say yes to an organization that I don't know what we get. I really don't know. We get calls and they're fun, right? So I'm just saying that when you see somebody who's successful and they're winning, just know that there's something that they say yes to. They say yes to the right connections, right? This is the danger of us not being open to relationships. I was reading like a meme today, and the meme was saying like it was basically saying something along the lines of like it was saying you gotta like watch people to make sure like that they are who they say they are and all these things. So it's this cautiousness about connecting with people was basically the gist. This whole like no new friends, like be careful because people are unscrupulous. And it's like if that's what you choose to believe, are there people in the world who are dishonest and who don't mean you well, who lack integrity? Yes. But are there people who are full of integrity that see more in you than you see in yourself, willing to pour into you, willing to pull you up, willing to, match your energy? Are there great people in the world? But if you only focus on the fact that people could end up, taking advantage of you or something like that, then you miss opportunities, right? So the person that you see that's successful, sometimes when I'm around people who are successful, I listen to the conversations that they have. And it's just a different type of conversation. It's just a different, they're not necessarily talking about money, but strategy is all in the mix. Some kind of self-improvement strategy, how to bounce back. Like these are the types of conversations that you hear on a regular. You miss that when you say no to certain things and you can't predict what the yes is going to generate. That's right. There would be no JRG. That's what I'm saying. So there's no way that Miss Annette could have predicted that she would have, and who knows what's going to happen? Who knows how this is going to be related to the goals and the dreams that you have? Like you can't predict it. But just know that like God is going to bless your action. So just move. All right, without the guarantee. All right, be open to relationships with people because, truth be told, I'm not even going. I'm not touching it. I was going to go down there and say it's about your selection because people give you indications of who they are before they get to the point of taking advantage of you. And so your relationship, your emotional intelligence, your interpersonal skills may need some development so that you can kind of recognize these things. Like sometimes we see red flag. All I'm saying is sometimes we see the red flags before the big explosion and we ignore them. All right. So be open to new communities. Be open to a mentor. I was talking about this week how knowing your weaknesses is like a game changer. I don't know why we like to just act like these are my strengths and I got it all together. And we tend to want to hide or cover up our weaknesses. And I'm definitely not saying broadcast them. But when you're clear about areas that still all the weakness is an area that still needs development. So when I see this is an area that I just need to develop, I'm giving myself a checklist on how to continually get better, which is what I should be doing anyway. I'm giving myself a checklist. All right. But if I deny, that this particular area of opportunity for growth exists, how do I develop it? All right. So when you realize that you have the weakness, the first thing is you got to start looking inside. What is it about me? Like, what are some things that I can develop? And then when you find you can't develop them on your own, then you need to go find somebody, a mentor, a coach to help you develop them. So when I tried and 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 tried to lose weight, I didn't know. I kind of knew. I still thought I knew how to lose weight when I reached out to Ro. I still thought I had this thing figured out. But the pivotal moment would have been when she challenged me by saying, is not the shakes. Because in my mind, I'm like, I know how to do this thing. I just got to buckle down, and get my willpower together. And she's like, you don't know what you're doing. See, some people in that point, they be like, no, because I didn't lose weight before. I know how to lose weight. When she told me I didn't know what I was doing, I'm like, she might be right. Because I've been doing this for a long time. And even though I lose, it was inconsistent. It was inconsistent. It was off, it was on. 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 All right. So be open to coaching, mentorship, new communities, new relationships. Be open to investing in yourself. There are certain things that you're just not going to learn. How do I say this? Okay, I'll take my own personal mentor. Could I have gone on YouTube and Googled everything that I've learned in the year that I've been in my mentoring program about how to be a better speaker, how to be a better coach, how to launch a program? Could I have gone on YouTube and done that? For sure. I'm pretty sure everything that he's taught us, there's a video to match, and I could have gone on YouTube and looked it up. But there's a couple of things I have to be honest about. I didn't. And I didn't know what I didn't know. So what having a coach or what having a mentor did was it cut the fluff for me. It gave me a framework so that I could focus on the right things, right? See, I would have got lost in YouTube land and I'd be over here looking for how to be a better speaker, right? Versus investing in myself, getting into a program where my coach could teach me boom, 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 boom. I could ask him everything that I do. I'm able to say, hey, is this right? Should I do it like this? He tells me what he thinks I should do. I tell him what I'm going to do, right? So he's walking alongside me. Could I have gotten it off YouTube? Absolutely. But he saved me years. So what happened was he invested in himself. He learned these things and passed them down to me because I chose to invest in me. So by me investing in me, he shaved years off of my learning experience, the need for me to take all this time learning. All right. So you got to be comfortable investing in yourself. All right. These are the things that when we see somebody winning, typically they've done. But this is the part nobody sees. You don't know who their coach is. You don't know that they have a mentor. You don't know where they're getting the feedback about their performance. You have no idea. Right. All right. So those are the things they say yes to: relationships, community, investing in themselves. What I say? Investing in themselves, communities, relationships, getting a mentor or a coach. They also say yes to learning new things, continually getting better, right? So often we're like, hey, this is just like the way I am, especially when you get older in age and you get more like set in your ways. You start to feel it's easy to start to feel like, this is the way I've always kind of done things. This is what I'm going to keep doing. That should never be the case. Never, ever, 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 ever. You should always be getting better in some area. Always, until you leave this earth. So I have a great aunt who passed last year, and she passed just shy of her 100th birthday. And well into her 90s, this woman was still driving, climbing ladders and ironing curtains and doing all the things that she did when she was 70, 60, 50, 40. Okay. And I bring her up because for me, she was the best example of what it looked like to continually just stay vibrant and just be getting better. And then when she didn't have the opportunity, like when she got slowed down, that's when she got on out of here because she was done. But I can honestly say she lived it to the end, to the end. So when I found out she had passed, I was a little like, dang it, I wish she had made it to 100, because it was close. It was like a month. And like in a month, she would have been 100. And then I was like, it don't matter because she lived every last one of those years. She lived, right? Part of living involves is getting better continually. Like, don't ever stop growing. All right. So when you see somebody who is winning at a high level, what they have done that's different than what the average person does is they continue to grow. They don't just reach a point and be like, yes, I made it. Let me kick my feet up and just be here for the rest of my life. No, they get to that level and then they're wanting to know what's next, what's next, what's next. Evolving, getting better. That's right. Her name was Dorothy Hawkins. All right. Well, actually, it was Dorothy Murphy, her married name. But the point is, yes, she lived all those years, and then when she was done, she was done. And I said, Lord, that's exactly how I want to be. I want to live every last one of these years. My prayers. I remember she called me and I said, "What you doing?" And she said, "Oh, I just got these curtains. Just got up here and pulled these curtains down." And I'm like, how you do that? She said, well, I just, climbed on the ladder and got them down. She had to be like in her 80s. And I'm like, should you be doing that? And she's like, why wouldn't I? And I'm like, because you're in your 80s and it's a ladder. She didn't care. She never stopped. All right. So the point is to always be learning and getting better. So that means that you might have to read a book. you know, you might have to listen to some educational audio, right? You might have to be on YouTube getting poured into some type of way. Listen to a podcast or something that's going to help you grow. All right. You should. So when I was a teacher, one of my things I challenged myself to do was to teach something every day, but also to learn something every day. So I always wanted to go into the classroom knowing like I'm the teacher and I would say I'm the classroom manager. Like they pay me to manage this classroom. It's not my room, it's our room, and I'm the manager. Because when I don't manage, y'all do what y'all want to do, and that's not good, right? But I always wanted to learn something. What I found is I learned as much from my kids as I taught them. Like they taught me things. So never leave, like say yes to being a perpetual student is what I'm trying to say. Don't get so grown that you think you know everything. You don't need anybody to tell you anything. You can never grow. Like there's a person who knows more than you. There's a community where there's always more that you can say yes to. All right. So the first thing is they said no to some things. I took the long way around to say they said yes to some things. Number 3, they do not waste time. They do not waste time. All right. Successful people realize that time is their most valuable asset and they can't get back. They can't get it back. Right. So they make decisions quicker. So if you are, this is one of my focus goals. So my mentor is working with us on traits of the great. And one of mine is being more decisive. Because a lot of times I feel like I have to have all the information so I can make a decision, right? And sometimes you're going to do it on faith. Now, you should make educated decisions, but some decisions you're going to miss the opportunity weighing all the options. All right. So sometimes you just have to move on faith and trusting that God got it, like with the information that you have, and there may not be time. So successful people don't waste time, they decide quickly. All right. They're intentional about their day. They don't allow distractions to creep in and steal their time. They don't procrastinate. They have a focused, clear plan and agenda. They are serious about time. So if you wake up and your day is on autopilot, it has no direction, no criteria for what success looks like for today, it's a waste of time. All right. So stewarding your time well. All right. Number 4, they tried again. I guarantee you, every successful person that you know has a string of failures leading up to their success. They didn't just shoot the shot and it worked the first time. They didn't just shoot the shot and it went in the net perfectly. Maybe they shot the shot and a bunch of people helped them get it in, or just happenstance, it went in there. But the point is, they did it again and again and again. All right. So they didn't rule out the things that work. They evaluate, right? We should always be okay. I tried this and this didn't work. What happened here? Let me assess what went wrong. Let me try again. But their bounce back is very strong. All right. When it don't go wrong, you can't lay there all day and you got a period of time to lick your wounds, okay, and get on up. So that's another thing that I'm working on. Resilience, right? Bouncing back quicker. It's not always going to be perfect. It's not going to go the way you want it to go precisely, exactly. See, because these things aren't how faith works. If I knew every step of it, like if I do this, it's going to lead to this, and it's going to be exactly as everybody would be successful. Because all we'd have to do is just follow the directions and win. So what gets built in you when you plan for it to go a certain way and it just doesn't, you become stronger, you become wiser, you become, immune to just laying there blaming other people, right? You change and you develop. All right. So they tried again. They didn't give up when it didn't go right. But when it didn't go right, they stayed focused on the vision. They stayed focused on the vision. And that's because they had a clear vision. A lot of times we're trying to achieve a goal, but we don't know, like, what's the goal? Like, what's the real goal? So let's take Tanisha's 50 pounds. 50 pounds. That was my goal, y'all. So Rogie took it when she said, but that was my real goal. I was so serious about hitting 190. What the 50 pounds represented for me is I'm going to be 190 pounds. So that means I'm going to be out of the 200s. Obesity never crossed my mind, y'all. It never crossed my mind. I'm going to be out of the 200s. So that's cute enough. That's going to be cute. And then I'm going to have my 14s on, and that's going to be cute. That's it. That's it, right? What kind of clear plan is that? Just lose the 50 pounds and then what? But the truth is, if I woke up the next day and I was 50 pounds lighter, see, we don't want to go through. We don't want to go through the go through. But the truth is, if I woke up the next day, or shoot, if I had actually legit spent 3 months getting the 50 pounds off, I hit the goal, I hit the 50. I would have had no, and the truth is, this is why I was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Because I never developed to a place where I knew how to keep it off. All right, because my daily decisions were always. I'm gonna tell you the story. The name of the company that I was using at this time, but it was a company that produces shakes. They shall remain nameless. Okay, so I had started this. It was kind of like you eat these shakes and then you have a healthy meal. Okay, could have worked. Ingredients in the shake not healthy at all, but I ain't on that. So when I sign up, I get a recipe book. Okay, yeah, this is how I'm like, this is gonna be my life. I can do this. I get a recipe book, and the recipe book have all these recipes that is just busting, like the kids say. There was one that was like lemon meringue. Get this, y'all. You put Jello pudding mix, like 2 tablespoons of the mix in there. Never give it like the lemon flavor. I think they had other stuff in there. I can't remember. Some of the recipes had vanilla in it. Then you put vanilla wafers on top. This was in the recipe book. No lie. So the first time I had this thing, I'm like, oh, this too easy. I can do this. I can do this. Okay. So you would make all the different flavors using the Jello mix. This is real life, y'all. True story. You would add Jello mix, and I'm like, oh, I'm in here. I can stick with this. I can do this for life. Right? So even though I would lose, like I did lose some weight doing it because I probably was eating less, because I'm following a little plan or whatever. But I'm still on high blood pressure medication because them little Jello tablespoons is full of sodium, full of sugar, in the vanilla wafers. So I'm still on blood pressure medicine. I'm still on blood pressure medicine. So the point I'm trying to make is I don't have a clear understanding really of what I'm trying to achieve. I have no clarity about my goal because everything related to the goal was superficial. It was vain. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a real heartfelt goal. It wasn't a life impacting goal. It wasn't. I just wanted to be cute. That's it. I'm telling you. I wanted to be cute and I did want to not be, I wanted to have more energy. Those two things honestly were my real goals when I reached out to Ro. I need to get some of this weight off of me so I can not be so tired. I'm very tired and I want to lose 50 pounds. All right. So the goal needs to be clear. When you have a clear goal, it makes it easier for you to try again, try again, try again, try again, try again, because you know what you're chasing. But for me, the 50 pounds was this big elusive thing. Like, what is it even? First of all, I had never achieved it. I never really had a real system for how to do it. It was very like, try this, try this, try this, try this, try that. I didn't have a system at all until I got a coach. All right. And nothing about me was changing. I mean, and as a person on the inside, nothing was changing. I'm just eating less. I don't see food differently. I don't have a different relationship with food, water, sleep, none of these things. So I'm not growing. All right. So when the goal is clear, so when my focus was shifted to lose, I ain't have enough sense. Thank you, Miss Annette. I ain't have enough sense to know. This is why the word say my people perish for lack of knowledge. I ain't have enough sense to know. Uh, to ask the Lord, can you get me off blood pressure medication? Can you stop me from having these ocular migraines, Lord? Can you help me to not be anemic? That was not in my prayers, but the word vitality was. Vitality was a word that I consistently prayed. Because when I'm a wordsmith, I love words and what they mean. So when God gives me a word, I'm usually going to look it up and see like, what does it mean? What other words mean the same? What other words mean? I just love words. I'm thinking about doing a segment called Word Power Wednesday because our words have power. I might do it tomorrow. That might be my lie tomorrow. But I'm saying, so vitality, like when I looked it up, I'm like, this is what I want. This is what the John 10:10 life is. Right. So I in all my journals, vitality, it was vitality and impact were always the words that I prayed for. Those were always the words that I prayed for. Even when I didn't know how's that going to happen. I believe God for it. Even if my silly self came to the altar asking for 50 pounds, I believed him for it. And I didn't know how it was going to happen. So this is what I mean. Like, it matters what you say yes to. It matters what you say yes to. Because even though I met Ro in BU, I could have said no when she said, because what she said was, you don't know what you're doing, you need a coach. If you for real, I got something for you. If you're serious, I have something for you. And I could have said, I don't know, tell me more. I need the details. I need to know. But I had to make a quick decision because this was our second rodeo around this. All right. So they tried again, and trying again is easier to do when you have a clear goal. They just don't quit. Even when, see, a lot of times we're so afraid to fail, as if failing, nobody wants to fail. That's not the desire. You never set out to be like, I want to fail. That's not the plan. That's not the gym. That's not what you're trying to achieve, right? But you have to choose which side you're going to believe. Like, you could fail, but you could absolutely win. Like, you could not achieve your goal, but you could surpass your goal. You don't know. All right. So there are no guarantees that it's going to be all right. But when you trust God, what you can't, the guarantee is that is if you abide in Him, consult Him, seek Him first. That's the principle. Seek Him first. And all these things will be added unto you. Not the Lord add the things to me and I kind of sort of seek you on the way. Seek him first. So when you do life with him, connected to him, guided by him, you have to know that all these things will be added unto you. And that all these things that will be added unto you might not be the things you're asking for. He might have something bigger. He might not give you 50. He might give you 90. He might not give you cute. He might give you no ocular migraines, no debilitating menstrual cycles, no anemia, improved vision. He might give you that. All right. So there are no guarantees. So it could go wrong. It could go all the way left and you could fail. But it could go all the way right and you could excel. But you'll never know if you don't jump and take the chance to see what God might do when you seek him first. All right. So this is why we get nervous, because we seek us first. And every time I seek me first, I got every right in the world to be nervous. Okay. Seeking me first gonna probably mess me up with my little human flaws. All right. But when you seek him first, all right. Number 5, they are accountable. So typically they don't blame other people, right? Sometimes we get so grown that we so grown. I used to say when I was a teacher, like we look at the kids and we be like, boy, what's wrong with you? Why you doing this? Why you doing that? But then you see why the mama do it too. Take me. I just take me to keep it real safe with me and my kids. My son, he got a thing for sugar. Where he get it from? Where he get it from? So I was holding my kids to a standard that I didn't keep because I was going Chick-fil-A getting all my fixes. But I'm trying to make them eat healthy. Kind of, sort of. Kind of, sort of. So successful people are accountable. So they take full responsibility for their actions and the results of said actions. They don't blame anybody for how it goes. They accept full responsibility for the actions and decisions that they make. All right. So those are the 6 things. Thank you. Yes, I say this all the time. I'm forever an educator. When I became a teacher, I knew God told me that I was supposed to teach. And when I first started teaching, and I still love working with kids, I used to feel like if I didn't have no bills, I'd do this for free. I literally felt that for probably like the first 3 to 4 years of my teaching career. And it was probably around year 5. It wasn't the kids. The kids stayed the same. The leadership changed, and then I had to leave that particular school, and I just never found a school that I just never found a place that gave me that what I had in those first 3 years. So I say that I was born to be a teacher, and so I was mistaken when I thought that it could only happen in a classroom. So, but I still love the kids. I love that 9th grade age range. They're funny to me. So that's it. So the point I want to make, and this is what I'm going to close with, the next time you see somebody who's winning on a high level and you're tempted to think that they have something or are capable of something that you are not, I want you to challenge, like arrest that thought and challenge it and realize that they do. There's some work that they've done behind the scenes, not because they're better than you or are really capable of more than you. They have just chosen to do the things that lead to the win and not quit. And not quit. All right. Most times we're on the brink of a blessing. And then we be like, this ain't working. I quit. I'm trying to lose 50 pounds. And I think I'm supposed to lose. This is what it's gotta all be about, y'all. Surrender. I think we jack ourselves up with trying to control how the outcome of everything when we have no control over the outcome. The only thing we have control over is the input, what we do. and God does the rest. Control that input, do that, But we be like, this ain't working. I'm gonna give me some cake because I've been eating salads all week and I lost however many pounds. I thought I should have lost twice as much, right? So they said the people you see that are winning, things they've done, the work that you don't see is they've said no to some things, they've said yes to some things, they do not waste their time. I was gonna open it back up because that include people, conversations, Instagram and TV. They do not waste their time. They try and try again. They do not quit and they are accountable. I'm sure there are more than those, but those are the 6 I wanted to give you today. So I want you to not look the next time and say, oh, this person is lucky, or like it's so tempting just to think they have something that you don't. You got it. You just quit too soon. You're not saying yes to the right things, and you're not saying no to the wrong things. You wasting time. You don't get back up when you fall down, and you're not accountable. The All right, y'all. I have a meeting in like 15 minutes. I love y'all to life. Thank y'all for hanging with me on YouTube because this is fun to me. And I will see y'all again tomorrow. The goal is again before dark. It's a whole different energy. All right. I love y'all to life. See y'all tomorrow.